Hi, this is the WayOut series. It is a collection of testimonies and revelations that can help you in your own healing journey. This is an online training on renewing your mind, inner healing, based on the way that's already behind me. This is not a few-step program. It is an encouragement and tools from someone on the way out to others on the way out. I believe that what meant a turning point for me will become yours as well. Have a great way out. Hi, this is the 11th session of the WayOut series. In the previous one, I was talking about my retreat season when I went to live in a small cottage in the woods to spend time with God and allow God to heal me. And it was a crazy season and it meant a lot to me, and I knew it was for a season. And originally I went there to just live there for 1 or 2 months, and when I was there like for half a year, I was like, okay, I should make 1 year and then another one. So I ended up living there for 2 years, and there are a few miracles around it. I won't share that, only in the testimony of my life series. So I ended up having a flat in Budapest again, and a lot of ministries waited me back, like, okay, you are here again, we are excited to have you again. And I didn't join them again, like all of them, but some of them, yes. And it was crazy that I've changed so much, that I loved doing things more, and the things that were like quite burdensome before were like challenges and fun. I used to be like the nameless volunteer that is not known, and I loved that position because I was like ministering just only on the surface, like, okay, I pray for people every now and then, I roll up the carpets and things like that. But actually I was in my own world with God. Like, I was like, I need him, I need to be with him, I need him to like make me right, and I was focusing on that, and ministry was like on the sideline, and I loved it, and it was right to do that, like that. And this time I was like, okay, I want to do that again. Like, I don't want to be in the spotlight. I'm not made for it. I always believed so, that I wasn't for the spotlight. I hated when people focused on me and listened to me and wanted to hang out with me. I was just like, oh, no, I'm gonna close back up, I'm gonna hide. This is not something for me. I always hated like to be at a company at a table. Like, oh, it was the greatest misery for me to be in the center of attention and just joking and small talk. Oh, it was hell for me. The definition of hell. And this youth ministry I was involved in, it was something like a lot of people left it because they started to minister elsewhere, or they were tired and they just quit for a time. And I ended up in a discipleship area, quite alone. Like, I was like, where are those big shots who can really do these things, who have all the skills, who are confident, who are like gifted, who are made for this? And here I am, I'm absolutely not wired like that, and I'm just like, I'm here and yeah, I can help with that. I only want to help. I don't want to do it. And God just tricked me. Okay, I help with it. Okay, I can be part of the leadership team because there are so many else more important, so many other important people there who can solve the issues, and I can just kind of contribute. And then I ended up alone as a leader of a group, a discipleship group, and I was like, what is that? Like, I was panicking just the way I was panicking back then when I went to that youth camp. I was like freaking out, like, I can't do that. I am fired against it. I've never done such a thing. I had this thought that if I ever organize something, if I ever try to be in the center of attention and just making things happen, I would make a disaster. I was 100% sure of that. So I never tried it. And now, at this point, I was in the situation when all the big shot skilled guys were out, and I was like, it either never happens or I can do it not really well. And doing it not really well is still better than nothing, so I'm gonna give it a try. And that's how I tried this leadership kind of thing. And it was crazy that I didn't turn out to be a disaster. It was a surprise for me. I was so convinced of that. And I always thought that, oh, it's the grace of God. And of course it's the grace of God, but I thought that it was something that was contrary to my being and my personality, and that, yeah, God is the God of miracles and he can still do that even if I'm really not made for that. And I remember on one of the camps, I was ministering, I was sharing, I was praying for people. There was a great outpour of the Holy Spirit, like kids laughing on the floor and all that, and I loved it. And there were some other people ministering, of course, as well, but it was like I was always kind of in the center of it, and I loved it. So even though it was like a trick from God and I felt like strange in it and it felt weird to be in the spotlight, I still did enjoy it. It was just felt like, oh, it's not for me, but God still can do it through me. And at one of the nights, I was talking with a girl, and we were talking about like renewing the mind and how far God has taken us from our prisons, and how much freer we are than we used to be. And okay, there is still a way to go, but we are feeling way much better, and we are having a great time because she isn't at the same place as I am, and it was cool. And at one point it just hit me, like I just had this realization that all the things I believe myself that not to be, like I believe that I'm not able to communicate with people, I'm not able to shine, and I'm not able to be in the center, to be a leader, to be heard, to be enjoyed, to be part of a company, to like be a people person, and be someone who stands up and lets their voice be heard, and all the things I was thinking about myself is actually not true, but so much not true that actually the contrary is the truth. So it's not like God heals me so that I'm not anxious or fearful among people, but he thinks about healing that, okay, I can be just the opposite. Like just as much as I was fleeing from people, as much I can now enjoy them and celebrate them and enjoy it when they celebrate me. And it was a shocking thing that God doesn't want to even, he's not about make your bill comments meet. He doesn't just want to make it 0. There was a huge minus, but now I made it to 0. He's like, just as much as it was 0, I make it at least as much a positive number. And I realized that exactly the same things I taught myself to be not gifted in and not skilled in, those are the ones that are the strengths of my personality. So what I think to be the worst part of me is actually the best part of me. What I think is my greatest weakness is actually my greatest strength. Like, I think that I'm terrible with people and terrible with leadership, and I think that because that's exactly what I was designed for, leadership and being among people and being seen and heard. Like, it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm a shy guy, a shy girl, but no, I don't suffer that much, I'm just shy simply. It's not, he was like, you have been told by the enemy that you cannot speak out, you cannot stand out, you cannot enjoy people, exactly because that's what I wanted you to do. That was my original thought about you, and it was intentional from the side of the enemy, that he set up all these situations right from kindergarten age, right from early childhood, to convince you that you can't be what you are designed to be. And it shocked me that, I don't want to like praise the enemy, but how intentional it was in my life. Like, every situation in kindergarten, I don't remember any encouraging situations in my early childhood. So everything was set up to convince me that I can never do the things that I do now. And it's crazy how precisely these layers of lies had been built up on each other to completely sabotage my calling, my being, my original creation. I need to share this thing. It's not that funny, but now it's funny. When I was really at the bottom line, like 17 or something, I had these nightmares, and in these nightmares there was nothing wrong going on. No monster, no killing, nothing specifically wrong. There was just a sense of a very bad and anxious feeling about it. Like, it was like worse than like being killed or something. Like, it was terrible. And the scene was simply, I was at a school-like thing, surrounded by people, and we kind of lived there. And nothing happened. Like, there was no action involved. There was this place and this scene with people. And sometimes the set changed and the people changed, but the same kind of school-like thing, living together, surrounded by a lot of people. And I hated those dreams. I hated school anyway. It was so much stress for me. And this nightmare was so bad that I felt terrible in the dream, but when I woke up, I still felt terrible. And every time I remembered this dream, I started to faint. Like, many times I was walking on the streets and I just remembered this dream, and I had to sit down to prevent hitting the ground because I knew I would faint. And it wasn't such a long season when it happened, and thank God it disappeared after time. But there were a few months or years, I don't know, it wasn't that long, when I had this reoccurring dream and these faintings. And it was kind of scary. Like, I was okay about thinking about suicide. Oh, it's kind of natural, but it was a bit scary for me, even back then. Like, oh my gosh, am I gonna faint because of a stupid dream? Like, what is going on with me? And it was like, I don't know what happened. My theory is that I was feeling so bad that my body was like, okay, I'm quit. I come back when you forget it. When you have forgotten it. Like, I can't bear it. And nothing like so there was no accident about it. Like, God like absolutely protect me in it. So it is actually not a big issue for me now. And why I was telling you that is that I have this little discipleship thing that is called School of Intimacy, and there are like a bunch of people, and I teach them on experiencing God. And we usually have these retreats when we have this kind of school-like thing that I teach them, but we are like more like we have fellowship and we live together for a few days. And I'm the organizer, I'm the leader, and I'm very much in the middle of it. Today I'm having a meeting with them as well. So and I love doing this. Sometimes I get anxious and get under pressure when I organize, but I do enjoy it. Like, there's nothing wrong about it. I feel like I am who I am when I do this, even if it can be a burden at times, but mostly it's not. And it just hit me at a point, like not that long ago, that all my nightmares came true. Like, the very thing that was the worst imagination in my mind, to be surrounded by people and I have to live with them and I have to be in the middle, that thing is what is going on in my life. Like, that is what I call to do. This is exactly what my real personality is, to do that. And yeah, it was a shocking thing that almost like the enemy knew that this is what I'm called to do. I'm not sure that is true, but it feels like that. And intentionally he tried to build up all the lies in my head so that I would never ever dare to come close to what is God's plan in my life. And it's crazy even to think about it. It's like, it really does blow my mind that I'm doing what I always feared to do and I always hated to do. And the conclusion from this is that we need to allow God to select our personality traits. Like, I was talking about how important it is to like allow God to select our thoughts. Like, oh, this is a bad thought, it doesn't lead anywhere. Oh, it's a bad train of thought, don't go there. Like, and it's good to do that like every second or every day or every time we have quiet time or whenever. Like, it's good to do that regularly. But just as much as it is helpful to select every thought, especially when you first start the renewing of the mind process, it is just as important to allow God to select even from your personality traits, even from your characteristics, because we don't know who we are. There is this trend that you should know yourself. It's all about like knowing yourself, and yeah, you should go to this these sessions and self-inquiry and all that, and there is a truth to it, but be careful what is the you that you are getting to know. Is it the real you, the original you that you are created to be? It is very worth discovering that. It's worth the self-discovery. And there is this twisted version of you that is only worth of discovery if you are realizing who you are not, what you are not. Yes, and many times there are these personality traits that we love about ourselves and we feel safe in it, and it's just not us. And we can build an identity behind it, like, oh, this is who I am. I am a shy and reserved girl who hates hanging out with people, and that was my identity. And God was just telling me that no, not really. Like, and I was clinging to it, like, this is who I am, and He said, no, not. It's like God is walking through the house of your soul, and He just tells that, okay, we should just dust off this chest of drawers. I really like it. And there is this bunch of rooms you made out of trash. Like, they should be bulldozed down and taken out to the trash, all of it. Oh God, but this is my favorite place. This is where I feel safe. And He's like, okay, you can keep it, but this is not what I created you to be. Many times, lies hide behind personality traits. Like, this is who I am. No, you're not. And there is this sense of like surrender and abandonment when we can tell God, like, okay, if you say that this is not who I am, actually I can say goodbye to it. And many times we can really cling to those things, like, this is who I am, I feel safe in it, like an old, worn out and dangerous slippers. Like, it feels comfy and we like it, and it's no longer useful at all. Yes, as many times it's not just like, oh, this, you feel you are not sociable and I convince you that you are sociable. It can be that. It can be as drastic as with me, but many times our characteristics are quite neutral. Like, it can be good and it can be used by the enemy. So it's like there's someone who's very like intense in personality, very loud, very like standing up and doing it kind of person, and it can be good. Like, this person can be very harsh against the lies and can love radically and rescue people from terrible situations, and has the power and the stamina to do powerful things. And it's a good thing. It's from God. And many times, and it can be that this personality trait is now used for distraction, like burning up all the bridges behind and hurting people and hurting others' feelings and be too harsh and critical of them. And actually, this personality trait of being this vehement and very characteristic and intense person is actually good, and it's from God, but it is twisted into something. else and something dangerous. So many times we have this characteristic and the enemy tries to twist it into something, and we need to be like careful to hear God like, oh, this is from me, and that aspect to it is not what you created to be. And God can do that. Like, he's very like gentle with it, and he knows the tiny differences, and he can tell you those things. He's very like gentle and kind about convincing you that, oh, this is who you are and this is who you are not. And I love how he does it with me. But there are times when he's like, this is nowhere in my plan, and you can cling to it and you can delay your healing, but as long as you let go of it, you can be free. And it feels safe many times. Like, there is a false joy to it. Like, okay, I'm hiding away from people. It feels good. It feels safe. And there is a good feeling to like being safe. So I'm clinging to that little good feeling. But God doesn't want you to have just this little good feeling of staying behind your limitations and bars of your prison. He wants you to give the greater joy of freedom. So sometimes we need to give up this little joy of our bondage and staying comfortable in our old, worn out, useless slippers for something way better. And it is sometimes surrender and giving up our will. And okay, God, if you say that's not who I am, and there is a greater joy of your freedom that feels so strange and so alien to me right now, I'm gonna let you to introduce that me to myself. I love the way God does those things, how sensitive he is when he does that, and you can enjoy it, and there is a joy even in the hurt of giving up what you are familiar with and used to, and that's why you like it. Yeah, so there is this for example, I was like always hiding away from people, from all the companies, because I thought this is my personality trait, so I tried to be true to myself, and God just showed me that this is not being true to yourself, and you can decide. It's quite easy, but not that easy to decide what is your true self, or a personality trait decides. So it's not that easy, but it can be easy to decide whether a personality trait is in the original design of God or something that the enemy tried to twist you into. And any characteristic can be from God in his original design, and it can be something the enemy tries to force you into. So I believe that if you're fully free and fully realized and fully your true self and original self, what God designed you to be, you would still have this personality to yourself. Like, you would still be different. Like, it wasn't like everyone is just like Jesus and we are like eggs on the row. So there is something specific about you. How you decide is that whether a specific thing is from the original design or from twisted thinking, is that how free and well you feel when you act out of it. So for example, when I had this idea that I'm I'm not a people person. And when I was fleeing from people, I still felt strange about it. Like I still didn't feel right. And I felt like upset when people were like very extroverted and really talking all the time and telling jokes and shining and stealing the show. I was like, oh, who is this person? I hate this behavior, and so annoying and so arrogant, and I didn't like that kind of thing. And and the guy just told me that actually this is what you are really like. Not the annoying and arrogant part, but you are made to shine like that. And you feel bad about this because this is what you really are, this life of the company kind of person. That's what I designed you to be. And even if you don't like it, it's something that is part of your original design. And this is why you feel a bit miserable when you hide away, because something in the inside knows that it is not what you are created for. Like, if I designed you to be a monk, you would completely enjoy it when you never meet people, because that's part of your original design, and that's okay. But the very fact that you feel this bad feeling about it shows that this is not who you really are. And I had to like put up with it. And from then on, I tried to like look at the situations, even if they felt very strange and outside of my comfort zone. I was looking at those situations when I had to like really be in the center of attention, that okay, this is something God thinks I can be, so I try it. And even if I mess it up, and even if I feel like this is something like a big shoe that is like not comfortable because it's too big and I don't know how to move in it, it's still mine. God says it's mine, so I'm gonna give it a try. And I was quite patient with myself. Like, I'm learning how to be free. Now I can be too free sometimes, so I can really I can be too harsh at times and too outspoken, and sometimes I don't allow people to like speak that much in a conversation, because I'm so I'm so talkative, and it sometimes it freaks me out. Like, I don't want to be that annoying person. And I don't think I make that much trouble with my freedom, and I don't think there is such a thing that too free. But actually, I don't know what to do with this freedom. Like, I can even hurt people with it. Like, it's a new tool I never used, so I don't really know how it works, and it's so funny. And God knows how to create situations in your life that can underline this revelation of who you are. Like, last time I remembered, I went to this game night with friends, and actually most of the people were complete strangers, and I was like, I don't want to go there. I don't enjoy that kind of thing. And I felt like this wrong feeling about it, and oh yeah, I'm gonna go there. God wants to show me that I'm free enough to enjoy that kind of thing. And it's so good when I enjoy when I refuse to hide behind this false identity of a twisted, non-original personality trait, and just do something that is completely contrary to it, just to see and prove that I am free. So it was like that. I went there, and it feels absolutely embarrassing, out of my comfort zone, and it was so great that God could just tell me that, okay, you survived it, you even enjoyed it, you are free, you can be in a company, you can see that you didn't make a mess, you didn't hurt anybody, it was okay. It was a lie that you can't do that. You see, it was a lie. Yes, I can see it was a lie. Okay, another lie checked out of your list. You are free from that. And this is a little game with the Lord that we play. Every time I feel like, oh, no, not that, I just, yes, I should do that. And yes, and enjoy it and see the lies proven wrong. And it can feel strange at times because I can't have this small fake joy of hiding and staying safe behind this illusion identity. But there is a greater joy of stepping out of the prison bars and see the light. And just as the Bible said, like, arise and shine, your light has come. Like, God just wants us to shine and be seen. And it's so crazy that the enemy tries to convince us that, oh, this is something you should never do, you should never shine, and you should never be the light of the party, you should never do this kind of things. And yeah. It's crazy how God just can flip it upside down and tell you that, oh yeah, you are not what you think you are. I'm gonna show you who you are. And you're gonna even enjoy it. Like, you let me throw out your old, worn out, dangerous slippers and let's see what I can give instead. So I think it's from God that I love being alone and I love silence, and I still do. I had this stupid thought in my mind that I'm either an annoying extrovert who just talks all the time and pushes everyone down, or I can be this artistic, sensitive, lonely person. And actually, I can enjoy the positive aspects of both of them. I can enjoy my silence and time away from people and be very creative, and I can enjoy the company of people and tell stories and jokes and enjoy that I'm loved and enjoy that I can love people. So yeah, don't let the enemy hide behind and bad thinking patterns and strongholds hide behind a false identity and personality traits that are not in God's first and original thought about you. Yeah. So what I wanted to tell you in this session is that many times the enemy tries to talk you out and convince you of things that are actually your greatest strengths and greatest gifts. And many times he intentionally sets up situations in a way that would sabotage who you really are in God, and who you are redeemed to be. And it's a great thing to allow God to select our thoughts, but also help to select and divide our characteristics as well, because he knows who we are, and his plan is that we would know each other the way he knows us in every sense. And that's what he's doing to me and to you. And you will arise and you will shine, and you're going to love it. And I can't wait for that to happen and it has happened to me, and it is happening to you. We are having a few minutes break, and then we continue with an exercise. God bless you. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it was a blessing for you. This course is completely free of charge. However, the production and editing has a cost, and I wanted to produce this series in the best possible quality and make it available to everyone absolutely free on YouTube. So if you feel led to, please contribute with any amount to the production costs. All the donation options and the payment methods are available in the description.